Hey children's ministry leaders, here are your preteen media tips for May and June of 2018. Let's talk music first. As one of 2017's biggest breakthrough artists, pop music singer-songwriter Camila Cabello is on a roll. Her song Havana hit #1 on Billboard's Hot 100 less than a year after she announced her departure from the band Fifth Harmony. And she just began her first headlining tour in April. This 21-year-old Cuban-Mexican singer even made the news at the 2018 U.S. Grammy Awards when she gave a speech about growing up as an immigrant. Her album, Camila, released in early 2018, and it's mostly about romantic relationships. While a lot of the content is implied rather than explicit, it's often sexual in nature. Your preteen may or may not pick up on everything Camila Cabello sings about. So parents, keep this in mind if your child is interested in this artist. When it comes to games, Knack 2 is up and coming with preteens. Rated E10+, it's a 1 or 2 player game where players can change the size of a robot called Knack to suit their tasks. Knack's job is to save the world from a villain who's reviving ancient weapons. Players follow a storyline that The Telegraph said is like following your own Pixar movie. This follow-up to the original Knack has several enhancements and is an action-packed game that's accessible for kids and still has challenging options for adults. It's available on PS4. One thing worth mentioning about Knack is an implicit message users might get, that Knack uses his size to defeat bad guys. He can accomplish certain tasks as a big robot and others as a small robot, showing players that being big and powerful isn't always necessary. The drawback to this game is the fantasy violence that takes center stage. With more than 20 moves in his back pocket, Knack's ability to body slam, multi-bomb, and whip rush, among other fighting tactics, is what helps him beat the villain. In the category of apps, we have a concerning one to mention. The free app Saraha allows users to anonymously send feedback to others. While it was originally intended to help professional employees to discover their strengths and weaknesses, that's often not what it's being used for, especially among preteens. The way it's set up is for users to receive anonymous messages from any other user. But when a user receives a message, he or she isn't able to respond to that anonymous message, making it a potential breeding ground for bullying. In fact, it was recently dropped from Apple and Google stores after accusations that it promoted bullying. And while the app isn't the first one to allow anonymous and often hateful messages to be sent, it is one that's being used by kids, even elementary age kids. We mention it so parents can be aware of the app and steer kids away from it for as long as it's still available online. Next, let's talk about books. Beyond the Bright Sea is a fictional story about a 12-year-old girl named Crow who was discovered on a small boat by an old man on the Elizabeth Islands in Massachusetts. The old man, Osh, and his neighbor, Miss Maggie, raised Crow on the isolated island, but when Crow spots a fire across the water, she's led to discover some of her own history. This tale by Lauren Wolk touches on topics such as family, identity, and belonging. Beyond the Bright Sea is capturing readers' hearts with its positive messages and positive role models in the life of an adopted girl. It's written for preteens, but parents, there are some dark pieces to the story, such as the death of a baby, a visit to a graveyard, and a scary bad guy. When it comes to TV, the Netflix original series, Greenhouse Academy, is one of Netflix's popular dramas that preteens flock to. After a brother and sister lose their astronaut mom in a space rocket accident, they enroll in a prestigious high school where their mom had previously worked in the chemistry lab. The two high school-aged siblings face common teenage issues such as bullying, cheating, and negative peer pressure. In this sense, there are some positive messages. However, it's worth mentioning that the two teenagers also get involved in a criminal mystery that's a bit dark. Additionally, there's a fair amount of French kissing, and dramatic relationships are plentiful. Another thing worth mentioning is that there's a noticeable imbalance of African Americans as the bad guys in this show. Given all the factors, we think the negatives outweigh the positives of this show and wouldn't recommend it for your preteen. Finally, let's talk movies. Out May 18th, Show Dogs is a comedy about a talking dog who goes undercover at a dog show in Las Vegas. He goes to investigate who's using the dog show as a front for smuggling animals. It's rated PG for rude humor, language, and some action. Expect large amounts of cheesy humor in this film. While most of the content in the movie will be child-friendly, you'll find some mild levels of violence, profanity, substance abuse, and sexuality. Thanks for watching. We'll have more preteen media trends coming your way in July.